A severe weather outbreak is once again possible in the deep south. Stop me if you've heard that one before. If you're new here, I'm certified meteorologist Jonathan. Let's get into the video. We are going to break down the risk area. There is a moderate risk highlighted for a large chunk of the deep south. Now, moderate may not seem that high to you, but in the realm of the Storm Prediction Center, that is 4 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. So we're going to get all into that and go over that risk area in just a second. Then I want to show you the high resolution future radar, the timeline of when we're talking about the strongest of these thunderstorms, which could produce strong, violent, long track tornadoes across parts of the deep south. And then there is a cold side. It's not a crazy winter storm on the backside of this system, but there is going to be a narrow band of some pretty heavy snow. So we're also going to get all into that as well over the next couple of minutes. First, though, I did want to show you exactly where this severe weather outbreak is likely going to take shape. And you see that bright red there. That is that moderate. Now, remember I mentioned about before on that severe weather scale, that is a 4 out of 5. So again, this is pretty high. This is going to include extreme northeast Louisiana through Vicksburg, for us into Oxford, into extreme southwest Tennessee, and then a good chunk of southeast Arkansas, just to the southeast of Little Rock, where we still have that elevated threat here, that enhanced risk from about Nashville to Paducah into Jonesboro. That does include Little Rock into Shreveport. It's going to be right in this area here, in that orange and red color, that we're going to have the best opportunity for those strong, potentially violent, and long track tornadoes, not only later on Friday afternoon, but as we move into early Saturday morning as well. So a lot of these could be happening at nighttime. Come take a look at me. We're going to go over hour by hour here, and we also are going to have a flash flood threat. There are already some flash flood warnings ongoing this morning in parts of these areas because of the heavy rain from Thursday night. So you see where the heavy rain could be by lunchtime around Nashville, especially moving through Little Rock into southeast Oklahoma, then through Texas. I'm not anticipating a lot of this to be on the strong side. That, though, the severe weather threat is going to ramp up significantly as we get to the latter stages of your Friday afternoon and especially into Friday evening. So here we go, 7 o'clock on your Friday evening. This line here that's slicing through Little Rock in northeast Arkansas, this is no doubt going to be intense. There could be some embedded, short-lived tornadoes in this line, certainly wind damage, large hail. But I want to point out this area that you're going to see light up in just 1 second. When those cells get isolated, or discrete as we call them, that's when they have the best potential to produce those bigger tornadoes. And you're starting to see a few of these little kidney bean shapes here moving into extreme eastern Louisiana. Watch what happens, though, at about 8 to 9 o'clock Central Time, really starting at about from that 7 to 8 o'clock time frame Central Time. Look at this. We have a line, a string of pearls, if you will. That's what we refer to these as these supercells that are getting going in extreme western Mississippi. Each one of those could be producing a tornado at this time. That then advances to the east. This is midnight, late Friday night, early Saturday morning. This line of very nasty thunderstorms, strong winds in and around Nashville at this time towards Tupelo. But look at these guys here again. It's the isolated nature of the cells out ahead of the main line. Those are the storms that are going to have, unfortunately, the best opportunity to produce those severe thunderstorms that could produce the long track tornadoes. So again, my best advice to you, if you're watching from the risk area, to make sure that you have a way to get your watches and warnings, whether that is a weather radio, whether that is a news app, an app from your news station, your favorite local news station, that can alert you, that can wake you up in the middle of the night, because these storms are going to be intense all the way until about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to fast forward into Saturday morning. This is 5 a.m. now. Just to the west of Roanoke in extreme southwest Virginia, you see a very narrow line of thunderstorms. On an isolated scale, we could be looking at a few strong thunderstorms, but by this time, the main severe weather threat is going to be over. Mentioned a flood threat, though. You see the areas in green. That is a flood watch from about extreme southwest PA, just south of Pittsburgh, all the way to Columbus, to Indy, south of St. Louis, and then into Little Rock. Where you're seeing this red color here, that is going to be a flash flood warning in place. So again, early in the morning as a recording of this video, at about 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, We have some flooding ongoing from the storms from Thursday night, and that is just going to be enhanced through the day. You saw that nasty line of thunderstorms, and I will show you again when we take a look at the cold side of this system, the rainy side as well. So here's what is sparking this round of severe weather. It's always important to look at the pattern as to what is creating this as well. We have a big chunk of high pressure down over around Florida that is going to help to induce a nice, or not nice, again, good for the thunderstorms, a nice push of moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico to kind of supply the fuel, if you will, to get these storms going. Then we have this big cold pocket aloft, this big upper low sitting right around the Four Corners region. You see these arrows here out of the southwest, strong jet stream energy out of the southwest. It helps to induce that turning of the wind with height. We have the wind out of the south, upstairs at about 15 to 20,000 feet. Those shift to the south and west. That induces that turning of the wind with height, that rolling motion, and then that is how we unfortunately get those supercells to develop and potentially create those long track tornadoes. And then we're going to be dealing with this kind of bowling ball, if you will, roll across the southern tier of the country through Friday night and then kind of weaken, lose its punch a little bit as we move into Saturday morning. In terms of the cold side, we're going to start this off Friday evening. There's not much of any snow going. We need that upper low to kind of give us that zap of colder air, if you will. But this is where we looked at that flood threat all the way from southern Pennsylvania through Ohio and then down into Arkansas. And you see that green and yellow representing that very heavy rainfall. Now watch what happens as we get into early Saturday morning. So this is 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. It's not a ton of snow, at least widespread. In this very narrow strip, we could end up with 6+ inches of snow, but it's going to be in a very narrow corridor. So really northwest of Chicago towards Davenport, Iowa, and then extreme northeast Missouri. That'll include Madison, Wisconsin, close to Milwaukee, and then extreme northwest Michigan. So this is going to be Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. The blue representing the snow towards Alpena, certainly towards Sault Ste. Marie, into Milwaukee. Chicago, I think we'll get in on a little bit of snow on the back end of this. That pink color here, that represents we could have mixed precipitation, and then there you go with the green. That is the rain. This quickly gets on out of here by late Sunday evening. Almost everybody is done, except for us in New England. We'll get a little bit of snow out of this. Bangor, up in northern Maine, Burlington, Vermont, northern Vermont towards New Hampshire as well. We will end up with some light snow. Again, it's not widespread by any means, but there's going to be a nice little stripe of snow. So places like Davenport, for us in Madison, we could be looking at that 6-ish plus range of snow, that narrow purple stripe there. You see the model forecast. This is the European model forecast. Wants 8 inches in Davenport. I think that's a good number, but I think around 6-ish inches from about Davenport to Madison into Milwaukee, Traverse City getting up into that 6-inch range as well. And then about Sault Ste. Marie, 2 to 4, maybe 5 inches of snow out of the deal. So it's not a big, widespread winter storm per se, but we're going to get a nice little narrow stripe of snow out of this deal as well. Thank you guys a ton for watching. If you enjoyed this content, if you found it helpful, please hit that thumbs up button. And if you love talking about the weather and staying informed about the weather, all things weather, just weather, please hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you next time.